So all of you have seen this pyramid, I'm sure. That's the Maslow hierarchy of needs pyramid. There is nothing inherently wrong about this. There are a couple things that we disagree with, and I want to share it with you, just remind me. So the premise is that we are a creature. We are a Homo sapien creature. And we know that. We know that we're a creature. We know that we have needs, we have physiological needs, and as human beings we also have emotional needs and other things. So, physiological, as a pure creature, down with the reptiles, we have to be able to breathe. If we can't breathe, then we're not really ready to be the wisdom for somebody. Right? If I don't have food, if I don't have water, if I'm not getting sex, and feel like I'm the last reptilian member of the society on the planet, unless I have sex with a good female, I can't get past this. There's an urge. It's a physiological reality that these have to be dealt with. When they are reasonably dealt with, I can start messing around with and start looking for security of body and employment and resources and getting some round in my life and having a little bit of family and health and property. And we all know that this isn't a one-way shot like an arrow point up into existence, that I start here, go from left to right and master all this, and then I go to this level and master all that. Right? Some of us know that there are times when we're down, at least in this area. We've shifted down here in our fear structure, right? We start operating from here. Sometimes. We could be here most of the time and then bang here for 2 hours. So it's that kind of thing. It's a harmonic. But when I am here, when I am experiencing that need, I am not able to participate above that line. That's the Maslow premise. And we agree with that. We think that that's a pretty good picture. It's a pretty good picture of how a human being kind of, is structured. There's one problem that's in that is self-actualization. Self-actualization, in my sense, leaves you as a well-performing creature. It's mastering all the creature needs and desires and kind of doing a good job of keeping the needs in line. And there are two really, really important misses there. One is, there's nothing about making a contribution at this self-actualization level. It's all about, I can accept facts, and I can accept the truth about things. I can see the truth about it. I've got rid of most of my prejudice. I can solve most adult problems that I run into. This isn't about wisdom problem solving. This is about, I'm out of gas, and should I stop at this gas station or 3 stops? And spontaneity, well, some people are not going to be very spontaneous, but occasionally I can be spontaneous, and I can be creative, and I can act morally. But it's all about action and behavior, and there's not one element of contribution. And I think the misses are twofold in that. The first is that we believe that contribution is down there with the physiological requirements. How else can you justify or explain suicide? If I don't feel like I'm making a contribution that makes me worthy of being cared about and taken with a group, and enough to take my own life, then I must be down at the most basic physiological level there is. Something so important to me is not there. The other end is the other end. Maslow said that you get to this place where you're self-actualized, acting like an adult Homo sapien creature. And in that place, occasionally, randomly, unpredictably, you will have a peak experience, which is a place in which who you are and everything you've been working to do is what's needed for one little moment in time. It's the 15 minutes of fame kind of thing. And you can't expect to get there ever again. And you can't tell when you can get there, and you should be working to get there. And I say, hooey! Get to contribution, stay in contribution, and then we have sensibility that I wrote the book Flow. It's a pretty deep and intense book and hard to get through, but the essence is very, very important. When you see a person who's doing work where they lose all sense of time, all sense of self, all sense of other, all they're doing is focusing in and being fully engaged in the activity of the work for the purpose of the work itself. They lose all sense of time. They're completely at peace with themselves. And they are where they belong. They're not likely to get drawn down. And that's the premise of the CBI and all of our work, is that we take the upper triangle and we want to deliver self-actualization to the adult Homo sapiens, not creature, to the adult Homo sapiens self, to the real self, to this seat of identity, this place of being where I am the conscious. Are you aware that you are able to be conscious of any feeling you're having at any time? Are you aware of that? You can make yourself aware that you're angry or you can decide to or decide not to, right? Are you aware that you can stop having any feeling you want at any time? That's a different question, isn't it? But that's absolutely true. See, I can stop having any feeling anytime I want, decide to have a different feeling, or decide to have no feelings. I have absolute control over that from the seat of my real self. That's what he doesn't deal with. I can be aware of any thought that I'm having. And I can think the thought down to